Welcome back, and in this segment we will be talking about rallies and joining intercontinental rallies in Egypt, where one of Egypt motor clubs, they joined the Intercontinental Rally 2017. They are the first team competition, and they won actually not just one place but 3 places. They won the 2nd, 3rd and 4th places at M2 motorcycling above 5,000 cc, and we're joined in the studio by 2 of these members. We are joined by racer Mr. Khaled Aswan as well as racer Mr. Khaled Nasr. Good morning and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
And before we start, first of all, good morning, of course, both of you. Let's take a look at something that is really very, very special, and then we'll be back with our guests.
Come under control. If it's something not clear, and if you don't have that, it's an 8-hour penalty for that. Okay?
يوم صعب النهارده من ماهريجة نازلين لمرزوجة. احنا دلوقتي خلصنا تلتين المرحلة. النهارده 640 كيلو، اغلبه تكسير، ارضية ناشفة، صخر، جبال عالية ومجاري سيول.
جسمنا كله مكسر. هناخد ادويه دلوقتي، بين كيلرز، ونطلع نعمل 500 كيلو.
It's an 8-hour penalty for that. Okay? Go to this part because it's expensive.
Welcome back. And just as we have seen right now, this is the Intercontinental Rally, right? And well, of course, first of all, congratulations, both of you. I know it's a challenging sport now, and definitely we would like to hear more about this challenging route from both of you.
Sure. Well, first of all, it was a great experience. It was the first time for an Egyptian team to participate in an international competition. So just the whole experience by itself was great. It took us a while to prepare because it required a lot of logistics preparations, technical support, training, because the competition was very difficult. It was 3,000 kilometers across the north to south of Morocco. So we were preparing for about maybe 8 months before the...
Almost a year, yes.
Yeah, close to a year since we started having the vision and getting the team together. and putting all our equipment, our motorcycles. We bought brand new motorcycles for the competition, prepare them. So the whole experience was great to begin with.
Now, you were participating on a foreign ground. Now, did you visit Morocco to look at the terrain, or did you improvise in the Egyptian desert? Tell us more about preparing yourselves.
Yes, definitely. Actually, one of the challenges we faced was the terrain, because none of us had a chance to ride in Morocco before the rally. While it's all desert, there's a diverse terrain in the desert. In Egypt, the terrain that we practice on tends to be more sandy, more flat. Morocco's terrain tends to be much rockier. There's more mountains. There's also the problem with the temperatures. Here we have warmer weather. Over there, the temperature is very cold. So definitely, that was one of the big challenges that we faced, and that we were surprised by, I guess, or not expecting.
They describe it by being physically demanding and very much challenging as when it comes to navigation, this rally in particular. Why do they describe it like this?
Well, physically demanding because, especially on a motorcycle, we would start riding maybe, we'd start our day...
Just allow me before we continue, because
Sure.
this is something very, very interesting, but let's move on to a quick break and then we'll be back. Welcome back. As we were talking about this rally, the Intercontinental, and how it is a challenging one, and they describe it as physically demanding and, of course, challenging when it comes to the navigation. And we were talking about this. Tell us more about it.
Regarding the physically demanding activities on the off-road, with off-road motorcycles, basically the racer has to be pretty much standing throughout the whole stage, and each stage was about 500 to 700 kilometers, depending on the stage. So we would start riding, maybe we would start a race around 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and we might keep riding till 10 or 11. We finished the stage at 11 p.m. One day. So you're talking pretty much about a good 16 hours of riding in the desert, off-road, where you don't know, what's coming up. So we're pretty much standing 80% of the time. We're standing on the bikes, with the speed, with all the absorption of all the hard terrains. So it requires a lot of fitness from any racer.
And the navigation?
Definitely navigation is also one of the challenges. Actually, rallies are known in general for being very difficult in navigation. It's not just about the speed. It's about speed, about endurance, like Khaled was saying, and about the navigation. Because what you have is, in this rally in particular, we had the GPS, which had specific waypoints that the organizers had given us. But sometimes, the waypoints would have about 10 to 20 kilometers in between them. And you're driving in the desert for 10 to 20 kilometers, and you have to be able to read the terrain in front of you. You need to be able to know whether you should slow down a bit or speed, or if it's safe to speed up, whether this mountain looks like I should pass it from the right or from the left. And one small error could send you in the wrong direction for 5 or 6 kilometers before you realize I've made a mistake and I have to change course, and then you either go all the way back and back to the right course, or you have to find the shortcut, and sometimes the shortcut is harder than the normal terrain. So it's definitely a challenge being able to read the GPS while you're standing and driving the motorcycle.
What was the most challenging moment for you?
I personally had two very difficult moments. The very first day, when me and one of my teammates, we finished the stage, we took a route back and we decided to do a shortcut in the desert, and we lost our track, and we went into an extremely rocky area. I fell and I got trapped under the bike for about half an hour. And even him, he didn't pay attention. He just kept on riding. He didn't see me, and it became dark, and it was one of those panic moments. But thank God I made it out after half an hour of struggle and kept on going. Another day, me and Khaled together, we were on a track that was exactly 410 kilometers of pure rocks. It was extremely intense. And it was a very, very hectic day. Like, we started off at 6:30 in the morning. We finished at 11 p.m. and we were like super exhausted. We were out of water, out of food supply, out of everything by maybe 2 or 3 p.m. and we had to continue the ride all the way to 11 p.m. Without any supplies. So.
What about you?
I can't recall a specific moment, but I would say definitely one of the most difficult challenges of the rally is the mental part. It's about telling yourself that you need to continue, and that it's about not giving up, really, because sometimes, some nights, we would finish the stage at 11 p.m. and we would get to the end of where we're supposed to go, and we'd find out, after a very long day, that there's no food, or there's no hot water to shower, or there's no mattress or bed to sleep on even. And it's moments like these.
But you don't have a support team, I mean, in this respect?
We do have a support team, which we had two teams. One was a technical support team, and we also had a support team that was helping us with the supplies and setting up camp and stuff. But the support team also, used to arrive and find, before us, like just a couple of hours
before
before
us. You're talking about a
us.
route, of course, that is very much challenging. So how do you prepare yourself, especially when it comes to a different nature between your own homeland, for example? So how do you prepare for yourself for such a route?
Well, like Khaled said, I mean, we had 8 months ahead to prepare. I mean, riding is the most difficult part for sure.
But preparing where?
In
Practicing where?
In Egypt, well, we have different.
This is what I'm talking about. Did you find
Yes,
something
absolutely.
similar to us?
Yes, in Egypt, we enjoy beautiful deserts and off-road tracks in Egypt. We have all sorts of terrains here in Egypt. We have, like Khaled said at the beginning, a lot of soft terrains, sand dunes. We have also the hard terrains, like probably the video that we're just watching. That was in Saqqara with actually a group of friends from the Saqqara riders. We have the Eastern Desert as well as also hard terrain. So in Egypt, we pretty much enjoy all sorts of rides, but we mostly ride on soft sand because most of the areas are soft sand. But still, like when we got there, to be honest, we had a lot of places that we did not, a lot of type of terrains that we did not experience before.
Like
and
what?
It was like Rocky Mountains specifically, like really heavy basalt rocks. And it was just about, because we prepare a lot on our technical skills, our technical riding skills. So when we faced these types of terrains, we did not really enjoy them because it was like the first time to try it, and you're in the middle of a race and you have to do certain timings. But we just, I think all the preparation we did helped us out a lot to get by these obstacles.
Now, concerning both of you, would you tell us more about your riding history? Like, when did you start riding motorcycles? Tell us more about the races you've been in.
I personally started riding on road when I was 12, but I started riding. I'm 40 right now, but I started riding off-road 5 years ago. So off-road I started riding at the age of 35, which is probably a bit late for someone to race. But yeah, I've been practicing for 5 years.
Me personally, I've only been riding for a total of 2 years, off-road, pure off-road.
So talking about just rolling, of course, we all know and understand that it is one of the most expensive sports, actually. And it has many, it is a demanding one as well. So preparing yourself, and not only yourself, but the equipments you are using. And I've witnessed this by myself since they started the rally here in Egypt years ago. And I've seen the challenge and how all those who are participating, the athletes in general, they are suffering a lot when it comes to the funding. So do we still have the same, or things improved a little bit, or what?
No, things didn't improve,
Okay.
Unfortunately. Pretty much all the rally community suffers from exactly the same problem. And I think it's mainly driven by two things. In Egypt, we used to have one of the best rallies in the world, which is the Pharaoh's Rally. And unfortunately, because of security issues in Egypt, the rally stopped coming to Egypt now because it was canceled for 2 consecutive years. So now when you start losing media care, like, I mean, when I remember when I was, back in the early 80s when I was a child, I used to watch these rallies. The Pharaoh's Rally was like a huge event, and the whole world would be watching the Pharaoh's Rally, and all of our national TV channels would be airing the Pharaoh's Rally. So then companies and sponsors would be interested to support these racers, in such events. But for the past 10 years, as far as I remember, for some odd reason, the media started not focusing on these types of sports, unfortunately, which obviously is not a factor to bring sponsors. So people like us would have to bear most of the costs on their own.
What about the audience? Would you tell us more how popular it is among spectators?
Rallies in general are very, very popular,
Especially in
all over
Egypt.
the world. In Egypt, unfortunately, there is a significant rally community and people who are interested in motorsports in general. However, like Khaled was saying, I think because of some lack of media support or media coverage, it's not as popular as it could be.
Even for the spectators?
Even for the spectators. I mean, for example, after we came back from the rally, we got multiple requests from a lot of people on our Facebook page asking us, I'm very interested in what you guys are doing. Where can I follow you in more races, or how can I join you? Or, so there is a lot of interest, but it's just, unfortunately, there's no channel for these people to express their interest or to watch these sports.
What about the upcoming event? We were talking about it off air actually, and talking about the preparations. And of course, when you achieve something, it is the point that how to maintain it and how to improve, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. We're right now we're still discussing as a team together.
How many are you talking about the team in general?
Pardon me?
We are six team members.
Yes, we're 6 team members. Right now we're preparing, we're discussing upcoming international competitions to join. So we're considering the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. We're also considering Oman Desert Challenge. And there's also another international rally in Greece called Hellas Rally that we are also looking into, and Bulgaria at the end of the year. So we're still planning it. We didn't make a decision because every competition, obviously there's associated costs and logistics. So we're trying to find out what are the most reasonable challenges or competitions to participate in.
Now, you seem that you have your hands full and you're busy training. You sometimes maybe you're traveling to a certain terrain to practice. So tell me about time management, making time for riding as well as working.
I mean, it's definitely a challenge that we all face, I guess, in everything we do, right? Whether it's in racing or even taking holidays with the family, and so it's definitely a challenge. Obviously, not every single race we might be able to go as a whole team. Maybe in certain races some people might not join a certain race, and then they might be able to join another race. But what we're trying to do is make sure that we have at least some sort of participation in as many races as we can, in order to make sure that Egypt first of all is represented, and our team is also represented.
Talking about rallies again, and definitely it is one of the most important kinds of tourism. And just as you mentioned, the Pharaoh's Rally, I attended it several times, and we can see the huge number of people who come to Egypt. And not talking only about participants, we're talking about the media following them, we're talking about the shipment of their equipments. So we're talking about something that is really very, very huge. So how can we work, collaborate to achieve this, especially now that we started to hear about some Egyptian names achieving something? You mentioned we ignored maybe for some years because we did not see any movement.
Yes.
But when we start to see Egyptians were able to participate, to just have, to rank 2, 3, 4, something like this, I think it can be a start. No?
Yes, absolutely correct. The off-road activities in general in Egypt are extremely popular for Europeans. What we used to see is just the success and media attention of the Pharaoh's Rally. But what we don't see that along the year, there's a lot of tourists that come to Egypt just for desert tours. The Pharaoh's Rally was a significant rally, like you mentioned, with a lot of media attention. Maybe the local media in Egypt didn't focus on it much, but there was a lot of European and other international...
And tour operators as well, they used to join.
And tour operators, of course. If I were one of the, government officials, who would have a say in such a thing, I would certainly not only do the Pharaohs, but I would encourage to have multiple off-road events in Egypt, and I would start these events out of Midan al-Tahrir, in Tahrir Square, where like you see, like in the Dakar, for example, when it starts in Argentina now, it starts from in the middle of the capital, in Buenos Aires, and you see thousands and thousands of spectators, you know, and TV channels covering the event, and because the race itself, usually people are racing in the desert, so it's very difficult for the fans and spectators to just watch it unless they watch it over TV. But you know, event like that, I think it really deserves a lot more than what it has right now.
Adding to what Khaled said, you know, with regards to regulations and government, I mean, one of the issues that we face, even as a team practicing in Egypt, is just restricted areas and off limits, and we understand, of course, the security situation in the country warrants such restrictions, but this also, you know, stifles tourism, and it stifles, you know, our abilities to practice.
And we wish you that all your expectations and all your achievements come true, and your dreams as well. And I'd like to congratulate you again on the ranks you've achieved. Thank you very much, Mr. Khaled Ghassan.
Thank you very much. We'd like to also just thank the rest of our members of our team.
And of course the rest of your
Khaled
team
Kapo,
members.
Ahmad Zubmar, Islam al-Sheikh, and Samah Abu Hawa.
Thank you all, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
And now we will be going out to a quick break, but we'll be back for more on Breakfast Show, so stay with us.
The Triad of Thebes was composed since the 18th dynasty. It includes god Amun-Ra and goddess Mut as a wife to Amun and god Khonsu as a son. It's noticeable that the members of this triad were chosen carefully, for the wife Mut choice was meant in particular. Mut here doesn't exist for being just the wife of Amun, but while she plays the role of a wife, we find her name expresses motherhood. This double role of the wife and mother was the essential condition to accomplish the concept of Ka Mut'af, or the bull of his mother, where the female deity plays the role of the wife and mother, while the male deity plays the role of the father and the husband and the son. Goddess Mut plays here the same role of Isa or Isis as a mother and wife of god Min. It was pictured as a lady wearing a long tied dress and wears a double crown and carries the title of Nebti Tawi, the Lady of the Two Lands. Both the double crown and the title of the Lady of the Two Lands symbolize the role of the wife and mother played by goddess Mut. All this confirms that Mut was qualified to play the role of the wife and mother of the god of fertility. It's concluded that god Amun-Ra has joined between two great divinities through the universal role related to him. They are the divinity of the sun and the royal mastership, which he had acquired by his merge with god Ra, and the divinity of fertility and the universal mastership, which he acquired from god Min, which qualified him to master the universe. The practical expression of that was done by the festival processions, in which god Amun went out in 3 main occasions, each of which was connected with the vital role of Amun in the universe. These occasions are the Feast of the Valley, the Obed, and the festival of the beginning of each 10 days. During these festivals, Amun joins between the 4 corners of the world.